Hey guys, it's Scott with scottieb Cards, and in this video, look at the top 10 most overrated players for baseball card collecting. I did a video last week where I talked about the most overrated baseball cards in general. This is like the exact same concept, but the players whose cards in general are the most overrated. So the way I did this is I asked my Instagram audience and I gave a question. On the question, you can type in an answer. And it said, who is the most overrated player in the sports card hobby right now? I got a bunch of responses. I'm going to show you the top 10 with number 11 I want to show you as well. But the way I did this is if they were in the top 10 of submitted responses. So just like not spoil anything, but like Jackson Holiday was on there. He got 10 votes, 10 different people voted Jackson Holiday. So I took that to my larger audience and then I had them vote on yes or no if you think that they're overrated. So at number 11, as an example, we have Shohei Ohtani. A bunch of people submitted Shohei Ohtani, but then I asked my larger audience and only 19% of people thought he was actually overrated in the hobby. Not as a player, but in the hobby, only 19% of people actually agreed with that statement. 81% disagreed with that statement. So that's how we're going to go through this. And just so you know, I did not select the players on this list, so don't hate me. But let's jump into this. At number 10, we have Bryce Harper. 27% of people think Bryce Harper is overrated. His cards are overrated, not him in general, but his cards are overpriced, or for whatever reason, they are just not great and there should not be as much hype around them. I kind of disagree. Bryce Harper, his cards aren't crazy. Maybe his high end is pretty crazy, but in comparison to the modern players, he's pretty mild, right? When it comes to values. This is his top short print rookie card, where it actually is a true short print from Top Series 2, really hard card to find. And that goes for a lot, but a lot of his other stuff is pretty affordable. So I don't think his cards are really overrated personally, but I don't own any, so maybe I do. Maybe my wallet is speaking how I feel. At number 9, we have Mike Trout, 28%. So more people think Mike Trout's cards are overrated in the hobby right now than Bryce Harper. Mike Trout's looked really good so far this year, but overall 257 people voted that Mike Trout's cards are overrated. So we had almost 1,000 votes, 900 votes. How many do we have? About 900 votes or so. And 28% of those 900 votes said that Mike Trout's cards are currently overrated. Mike Trout's hard right now because he was so good in the 2010s and then he's been so bad since. And since he's been so bad since and hardly played, I can see how people are losing the desire to collect his cards. But his cards in general are very rare. His cards are hard to find. And so if you have them, they're good to hold on to because he doesn't have many rookie cards in general. And on top of that, Mike Trout is still going to be remembered as a all-time great. All-time great is a big statement. I mean like top 30 player all time. That's an all-time great when you consider like 24,000 players that played Major League Baseball. But overall, his cards are down in general. So I don't really want to say they're overrated because they are already moving down. Maybe 2 years ago, they were more expensive and he wasn't playing maybe then, but I don't really think so. At number 8 is Juan Soto. I kind of feel like once you get 30% and above and then 50% and above in particular, there's more people in the hobby thinking your cards are overrated. Juan Soto's had a tough start to his Mets tenure. He has a below 800 OPS as of recording, but either way, some people do think his cards are overrated. We had about 900 votes, 288, so about 32% said yes, his cards are overrated. But up to you to decide. I like Juan Soto. His cards aren't as expensive as they used to be, but they're still more expensive than a lot of players, so tough to say. At number 7 is Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter received a lot of hate. He received a lot of submissions, and on top of that, people voted Derek Jeter at 34%. And I don't think that it's fair to call his cards overrated. I think his cards have a really great collector base with the Yankees fans. He has 5 championships. He has the most hits ever for a shortstop. So a lot of things I like about Derek Jeter, but at the same time, if he played for the Indians, would his cards be as expensive? No. And that's okay, because he's a Yankee and he did a lot of great things for the Yankees. And so I don't think his cards are overrated myself. I think his cards were collected for a reason. Maybe they shouldn't price similarly to Ken Griffey Jr. or Barry Bonds, but that's up to you. And Yankees fans are very passionate. So it's always probably going to be that way. At number 6, we see a big jump where we saw a big jump from 34% voting yes to 67% of people voting yes on Elly De La Cruz. And Elly is a tough one because he is an analytical darling, but not like a traditional stat darling. I mean, he is with stolen bases and home run, yes, but he also has a ton of errors. So his defensive metrics as a shortstop, I think he led the league in errors last year. They said that he was bad, those traditional stats, right? But if you actually look at the advanced metrics, he had great range. He has a very strong arm. He was a plus defender, one of the best defenders in baseball. And so if you look at analytics and WAR and things, yes, that supports Elly. If you look at like batting average and those other metrics, strikeouts, I think he led the league in strikeouts or was close, and errors, they don't love him as much. So his cards are voted as overrated, 607 votes. Pretty crazy saying his cards are overrated in general. At number 5 is Julio. People are sick of Julio Rodriguez right now. And I think they're sick of his early slow season starts and playing in the Mariners ballpark where he can't hit the ball. Like there's a couple things where his numbers are down. His rookie year, they're like top 5 MVP numbers. In his sophomore year, they're top 10 MVP numbers. And then he's kind of just not been the same. And so for Julio, he needs to figure out how to be more than a 780 OPS guy, get his OPS into the 850s, 900s, and it feels like he has it in there. He's just a free swinger. He swings wild, and his cards aren't cheap, but they're not as expensive as a lot of people think in comparison to other players. Like a Bobby Witt Jr., his cards have now passed Julio in a lot of ways, but probably justifiably so. At number 4, we have Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens has been in the news like crazy with his rookie debut patch autograph. He received a ton. Actually, I think he might have been the #1 vote receiver when I was just receiving responses from people was Paul Skeens. And I'll show that at the very end. I'll show how many people got votes and then what the vote totals were for each player. But 80% basically believe Paul Skeens' cards are overrated. And I mean, he's a pitcher and he's a rookie pitcher. It's tough to buy his cards and really believe in the cards. So maybe there's something there. Who knows? That's something you can tell me on Paul Skeens. I'm not buying his cards unless there's a really great deal and it's a really cool card. Maybe, but it's not what I'm really seeking after for that reason. At number 3 is Jackson Holliday. This one makes sense, and I wasn't able to get the total quantity of votes. Instagram wouldn't let me have it for some reason, but 81% of people believe his cards are overrated. He was the #1 prospect in baseball last year, and then he's still talked about by Major League Baseball heading into this season. He hasn't quite done it yet, and so yes, his cards may be overvalued and overrated in general in the hobby, but his actual rookie debut patch autograph, it gets overshadowed because Skeens went for $1 million, but Jackson Holliday still went for 200 and something thousand, maybe even $300,000. And so his cards were either 200,000 or 300,000 for that rookie debut patch autograph, but his cards aren't cheap. And so people are saying, yes, I think it's time to say his cards as of right now are overrated. At number 2, this one surprised me, was Anthony Vulpi. A lot of people do not like him. 83% of people think his cards are overrated. He has a Gold Glove 3+ WAR every single season since he's debuted. I do think if he figures out how to use that torpedo bat that they talk about all the time to be even better, that's going to help his cards a lot. He has the big collector's base like we talked about Derek Jeter. But yeah, a lot of non-Yankees fans and even some Yankees fans think his cards are overrated. And at number 1, we have Jason Dominguez, another Yankee. 90% said yes. 813 votes said Jason Dominguez is overrated. 9 out of 10 people in the sports card hobby recommend using this toothpaste. Just kidding, that's a dentist commercial. But 90% think his cards are overvalued or overrated in the hobby in a sense. Maybe it's because one of the biggest baseball card sales, at least modern baseball card sales of all time, was his Bowman Chrome Superfractor autograph. That went for like $480,000, and Jason Dominguez hasn't been that good yet. So we'll have to see what happens with his cards, but he is number 1. And those are the top 10 most overrated players in Major League Baseball according to my audience. Thank you for voting and participating. This is the number of times a player was mentioned. Paul Skeens was 33, Ellie was 18, Juan Soto was 12, Rodriguez was 10, Trout was 8, Ohtani was 7, Harper was 5, Dominguez was 5, Jeter was 5, Vulpi 4, Jackson Holliday 4. I didn't include Bobby Witt Jr. because I didn't think his cards were overrated myself. But then some random people got strays like Luis Robert, we had Pete Alonso, Will Clark. What did Will Clark do? Whoever voted for Will Clark, Aaron Judge got 2 votes, Mookie got 1 vote, and so forth. So those are the most overrated players according to you all in baseball card collecting. And I'll see you in the next video.